Namaste Seekers. Welcome to part 16 out of 100 of our Ramanuja Refutation series. Today we continue to look at Ramanuja's Gita Vasha on verse 212. Here Ramanuja says, Ajnana Krita Drishtivadetu Paramapurushasya Paramartha Drushtehe Nirvishesha Kutastha Nitya Chaitanya Atma Yathatmya Sakshatkarat Nivritta Ajnana Tatkaryataya Ajnana Krita Bheda Darshanam Tad Mula Upadeshadi Vyavaharascha Na Sangachante. The appearance of duality is not possible. Ajnana Krita Bheda Darshanam and Tat Mula Upadeshadi Vyavaharaha. The transactions born of this duality, which involves teaching, is also not possible. This is how Ramanuja attacks against Advaita. He assumes that Brahman itself requires to become subject to ignorance to enable teaching that leads him to maintain eternal pluralism, where Param Brahma is reduced to a deity Vishnu who is sitting in his abode called Vaikuntha, and looks at Vedanta Shastra through the lens of Pancharatra, Para Vyuha Vibhava Antaryami Archa, cleverly tailoring the whole Vishishtadvaita philosophy, theology, dogma around the Vakyas of the Vedanta Shastra. Let us be clear, anything we conclude has to have evidence from Sruti directly and not any sectarian books. With respect to criticism of Ramanuja presented here, that teaching is impossible, the Katha Upanishads Sruti is the pramana for this, which says, Ananya Prokte Gatiratra Nasti. The one who is saying oneness with Brahman, when teaches, there will be no more Gati. With this Sruti, we understand that one gains non-dual knowledge, and having gained this knowledge is the real freedom, and that is given to the student, and the student also thereby gains the freedom. That Gatiratra Nasti points out absence of any travel after death for a liberated person, which also rejects Ramanuja's dogma of post-death travel being moksha. In Bhagavad Gita 7.17, Bhagavan Krishna says, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yuktaha. And in Bhagavad Gita 2.69, Bhagavan Krishna says, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami. And also in Mundaka Upanishads 1.2.12, Sruti says, Gurum Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Samitpanihi Abhigachet. Go to a guru who is seeing oneness with Brahman. In Bhagavad Gita 2.4.34, Bhagavan Krishna says, Jnaninaha Tattvadarshinaha Upadekshanti te Jnanam. The seers of truth will teach you this knowledge. With all this, it is clear that the teaching is operating at an empirical level, removing the ignorance, thereby which one wakes up to the absolute reality. Shruti and Smriti make it unambiguous. Only an enlightened guru, Brahmanishtam Nityayuktaha Tattvadarshi Ananya Proktaha, who abides in the non-difference Advaita Tattvam, can confer liberation by teaching. Aitareya Upanishad in 1.3.12 says, Saha etam evasi manam vidarya etaya dvara prapadyata tasya trayaha avasthaha trayaha swapnaha. The Creator, Paramatma, having created the creation, entered. And having entered, goes through various experiences. Tasya trayaha avasthaha trayaha swapnaha. This trayaha swapnaha points out that this is not really happening. All these states and changes for Paramatma are not happening really. Therefore, the word swapnaha is used for all the states. And later in the next verse, Aitareya Shruti continues to say, Sahajataha bhutani abhivyakhyata. One who makes himself manifest as his whole dualistic experience, etameva purusham brahma tatamam apashyata kimaham anyam bhavadishyata, becomes free from ignorance and appreciates oneself to be everything. So by this we understand that waking up to one's true nature as Brahman is going on at an empirical level. The Shruti is pramana, and the Shruti says trayaha avastaha tasya swapnaha eva, and thereby the liberation granted also cannot be taken as a real event, but the recognition of what one actually is. Thus, in the light of Shruti, we have seen Ramanuja's argument being destroyed stage by stage. Brahman doesn't need to become ignorant. Brahman doesn't need to teach really. All the Shruti Vakyas I have quoted today, Katha Upanishad 1.2.8, Mundaka 1.2.12, Aitareya 1.3.12 and 1.3.30, and the Smriti Vakyas, Bhagavad Gita 2.69, 4.34, affirm that moksha, liberation, is by gaining non-dual knowledge. And that which is given by a guru who is already one with that Brahman, one who is awake to the Jiveshwaraikya. Thus Ramanuja's charge of contradiction fails completely. Om Tat Sat.